everyone has a secret. But not every secret was meant to stay buried. Welcome to the confession chamber. I look at my daughter every single day, and I love her. God, I love her so much it frightens me. But somewhere out there is another child. A child with my blood, my eyes, maybe my laugh. And she is growing up in a house that was never meant to be hers. And the worst part? That was entirely my fault. I am the reason. I was 27 when I got pregnant. My husband and I had been trying for almost 2 years, and when the test finally came back positive, I cried in the bathroom for 20 minutes straight. Happy tears. The kind of tears that feel like relief and joy and terror, all layered on top of each other. We were living in a small city in Ontario. We weren't rich, but we were stable. We had a plan, a nursery painted soft yellow, a name picked out before the 20-week scan, a whole imagined future just waiting to be lived. I was not a reckless person. I was not someone who made impulsive decisions. I had a routine, a budget, a color-coded calendar on the fridge. I tell you this because I need you to understand what I did not come from cruelty. It came from somewhere much more complicated than that. And somehow, that almost makes it worse. At 32 weeks, our world quietly collapsed. The specialist used words like hypoplastic left heart syndrome. He drew a diagram on a paper towel, the kind of casual gesture doctors use to deliver catastrophic news, and explained that our baby's left ventricle had not developed properly. She would need open heart surgery within the first week of life, then another surgery at 4 to 6 months, then a third, called the Fontan, around age 3. And even after all of that, after all the tubes and the ICU and the medication and the waiting, she would still live with a heart that would never function the way a heart is supposed to function. She would have limitations. She might need a transplant one day. Her life expectancy, the doctor said, was difficult to predict. He was kind about it. I remember that. I remember his eyes being kind. But kindness does not change the architecture of a sentence like that. My husband held my hand in the parking lot afterward and said, "We can do this. We'll figure it out." He said it with such certainty, and I believed him, and I also didn't believe him. And I sat in the passenger seat and felt something inside me fold inward. Something that had no name and no bottom. She was born on a Tuesday morning in February. The birth was fast, unexpectedly so. They whisked her away almost immediately to the NICU, they said, to assess, to stabilize. My husband had stepped out to call our families. I was alone, still in the delivery room, in that strange, hollow silence that follows labor. I was exhausted and terrified, and I hadn't even held her yet. That was when a nurse brought in another baby. She explained there'd been a momentary confusion with the room, a cord-cutting delay, a communication issue between floors. The other mother was in the room next door, also alone, her baby placed in my room by mistake for just a few minutes. A slip in the handoff. And I want to be precise here, because this is the part I have replayed in my mind more times than I can count. The other baby was healthy. I could see it in her color, in the way she moved. She was pink and round and calm. She had all the quiet dignity of a child who did not have to fight to be in the world. I don't know what happened inside me in those minutes. I don't know how to explain it without sounding like a monster. And maybe I am one. All I know is that I was 27 years old and I was sitting in a hospital bed in Ontario, Canada. And I had just been told that my daughter's heart was broken before she'd even drawn a full breath. And I looked at this other baby, this stranger's healthy baby, and something in my mind simply snapped. The nurse was gone for less than 10 minutes. When she came back for the other baby, she took mine instead. She didn't notice. The hospital bands had been placed in a rush. The lighting was poor. I said nothing. I held the healthy baby against my chest, and I said nothing. I said nothing. I have to write that again. I said nothing. I let it happen. And that is the truth of it, stripped bare of everything else. You would think there would be more friction, more moments where the whole thing unraveled. There were some. A nurse who double-checked a wristband, a registrar who seemed to pause on some paperwork. Each time my body went so still, I could hear my own pulse. Each time, it passed. My daughter, the one I kept, the one I am raising, had a clean bill of health. The surgeons in the NICU performed their procedures on my biological child, the child who had gone to the other mother. I found out later, through fragments of corridor conversation, that the baby in the NICU had required 2 of the 3 expected surgeries. I don't know what happened after that. I stopped listening. I had to stop listening. My husband was so relieved that the baby was okay. I watched him hold her for the first time and weep with gratitude. And I sat there with a smile on my face that I have never once been able to explain, even to myself. He thought it was hormones. He thought it was exhaustion. He kissed my forehead and called me brave. The word brave hasn't sat right in my mouth since that day. We brought her home. We gave her the name we had chosen in the yellow nursery. We took